Hi, Samaya. I'm going to give you your week 2 feedback. I'm not sure if I've given your week 1 feedback, but you asked for your week 2, so I'm happy to do that first. And so you give good evidence for your A plus, very solid evidence. You have convinced me. Only one suggestion I would have here is if you could just get rid of these spaces here. I know it's a bit picky, but it's just easier for me to kind of read it and I'm not sure if that's a me thing, but it would help. The second thing is find a new Gen AI tool. The one thing I would ask is don't use underline as emphasis. Use maybe italics. I only ask that because an underline usually indicates a link, and so like there's a link. The other suggestion I have for you, and this is is you have this Google Doc here, but I don't know what it is. So it's a Gen AI tool evaluation. So you can say my Gen AI tool evaluation. Okay. I'm going to get this link. I can do it by copying. I can highlight this, and this is kind of interesting. I can go right click and then insert link and then apply. And then I can get rid of this sort of messy link. And it's really clear to me what you've done here. So take a look at your evaluation. You're looking at Canva. Which the Magic Studio is, and you've given a description. It probably would be easier if this was in point form, but that's okay. Now, I'm not sure of the criteria here that you're using. You've got a description, the benefits, it's got limitations. It would be nice to look at some things, something like, is it easy to use? How did you um, how did you use the tool? Those kinds of things. But now that's interesting here. Okay, you got the tool there. Yeah, so my suggestion for this is to put a little more personal aspect into it. I mean, it's technically could have even just be written by Gen AI. And I want to know your impression of it. And so you've got this user friendly. So it definitely would be helpful if this was in a point form. But overall, it's a very good review. So you spent some time on this again. If you could just do this, that would be helpful. You've learned this. You spent about an hour on this activity, which is about what I expected. And you've given it an 8 out of 10. So that's fine. And then you have this in-class activity. Again, we can just get rid of this maybe and maybe make it bigger so I know what it is. And then you've explored new languages. Oh, learning new languages. That's the one you did. Okay, that's great. I guess to make it, if I'm asking for a suggestion, it would be nice to actually have your link to the debate. You may not have been able to do that, but in the future, what you might like to do, or what is probably a good idea, is actually create an account, and therefore that will save your work. And so you've got a good description there. I think it's a pretty and then reflection here, moderately available AI responses sometime back. Okay, so this is something you're evaluating and crafting. Okay, that's fine. And then here again, if you're going to put this commentary here, a personal project, best to kind of do something like type in personal project, and then you can just add the link to that so I can see that. You spent 2 hours on this. You're developing your cheat sheet. As I take a look at it, looks like, okay, you got your description, you've got your detailed plan. Okay, that's fine. Now it would be nice to see the actual cheat sheet and what's going on there as you started, like the progress that you've made on this. Um, and so, yeah, I'd probably like a little more detail in the progress so I can see that. That's probably where I'd move your A plus to an A if I were if I just giving you suggestions, that would be, and I'm not going to debate about that, but I'd like to know the progress because it's hard for me to know. You've got this in but where's the actual project output? You got your in-class contributions here. Um, team, supported team suggesting. Okay, you given some suggestions, and then 15 AI flags, which is great. And you could add the time there. That would be helpful, and add that. So overall, very well done.